Yoshi here with Texas Public Hunting and Fishing, and today I'm going to talk about public land and how to scout it when you don't have time to go check it out yourself on the actual land. Now, if you're like me, just finishing up work on Friday, then you probably don't have time to go scout the public land and go walk around and check out areas. The first thing that you'll want to do is get your annual hunting permit from Texas Parks and Wildlife. And when you do so, you're going to get one of these books, which is awesome because it has all kinds of maps in here of places that you can go and hunt public land. So each of these are broken down into different sections. They have like the Region 1, which is the Panhandle, and it has a little legend here that shows you all of the different properties within that region and all of the different species that you can hunt. So if you're hunting for deer particularly, in the Panhandle, there actually is only one place to hunt for deer, and that is the Taylor Lakes Unit Playa Lakes. But once you find a particular spot that you want to hunt, then you will just look at the legend for that particular map. Those maps are broken down and have the different streets, and there's a legend that shows you where the public hunting area is, which is all of the shaded regions. And then if you look at the legend that shows the legal game, you'll see that we have archery deer only for white-tailed deer and specific dates. This particular unit is pretty awesome because baiting is allowed. In most public land, you're not allowed to do that, but this one, you can hand broadcast some corn underneath your feeder, underneath your stand, so you can lure that deer in. Once you find a particular area you want to hunt, you'll want to find the access. So this particular place, it looks like there's a main road going across up here, so you can probably park up in that general vicinity. Now, the main thing to consider here is the wind, because if you're parking along this top area and you happen to have a north wind, well, hiking down into this is probably not going to be the best place for you. So you'll want to check out a couple different spots so you'll know what the wind is going to be like, and so you have the best approach to get to wherever you can go. So if you are going to hunt this particular area, a north wind would be great for this section. A west wind or a north wind could potentially be good for this section because you can enter from this main road over here if you are allowed to park along it. After you find a couple areas that are fairly close by, then you'll obviously want to take a look at the weather and see what the wind is going to do the day of your particular hunt. It's best to do this probably maybe night before, or at least within a couple days before you go out to hunt. Then what you'll want to do is take a look at Google Maps or Google Earth.
So here's Google Earth, and you've got a road going across the top of this, and let's say the public hunting area is right at the border or the edge of the woods. Now, this isn't the example from the maps in the public hunting permit booklet, but you'll get the idea. There's three main things that you'll want to pay attention to. The first is going to be water, and we've got water over here to the left-hand side. Even if that is on private land, no big deal. It's close enough to where you're going to be hunting. We also want food. That also happens to be over on the left-hand side in the private land area, I guess you could call it. And then the last or third point is bedding. And bedding areas, when looking online, you'll want to look for dark areas, which are going to be more thick cover or thicket where the deer are going to hide. The next thing that you'll want to think about is elevation. So in Google Earth, if you hold the control button and click, you can drag to change and look at the elevation. I'll zoom back in on the area, and if we take a look at it, we will see that the elevation does change at least a little bit in here. And that is important because we have the thicket area over to the right, which is our bedding area. On the left-hand side, off the screen, is where we have our food and water. And deer are going to take the path of least resistance between the two. So rather than going up and over these hills, they may take a path right through the little valleys there, or ravines going in between. So those are good points to try to set up your tree stand or ground blind, or if you're stalking, you may also stalk along that area or maybe a little bit higher to keep your scent away, or even right along the edge of the thicket, because again, the deer are going to take the path of least resistance, so there will likely be trails along there if they happen to be bedding in this. And lastly, to stress again, the most important thing that you'll want to think about is the wind. So if you're going to park along the street across the top of this map, then the wind that you'll want to hunt in this particular area is going to be a south wind. That way, as you're walking in, you don't get busted by your scent blowing into the bedding areas and spooking those deer so they run away. So if you do happen to have a north wind in this scenario, then you would also want to scope a spot on the north side of this street so that way you can walk into that without getting busted.
So that's how I do it. I don't know if it'll help you, but it's helped me last year. And another thing to think about is definitely plan on how far you have to go into the forest or into the woods, because if you do get a deer, you're going to have to drag it out. So you'll either need to have somebody on standby that you can call that'll help you come drag the deer out, or bring a wheelbarrow or a cart so you can do that. Last year I happened to get a deer about a mile or so into the woods, and that is very taxing, dragging it all the way back to the truck. So please stay tuned for some more videos. Feel free to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, ask in the comments and I'll let you know my thoughts. Thanks. Bye.